a really profound day with so many different voices in on September 21st every year. And this is one of the masterminds behind it and has been so powerful in the peace community. He's one of the more well-known folks that everyone's kind of excited to meet. So I'm quite excited and a little nervous and giddy to get to interview him. I'm very excited to hear what he has to say. So I would love to, if you can even just tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about Pathways to Peace.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, first I want to thank you for inviting me to speak, and want to congratulate you and your team for building this beautiful day. And I know what it takes to pull something like this off, and a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of passion and resources. So kudos for that and your team. So Pathways to Peace, it started, we're actually celebrating our 30-year anniversary. And how we got involved in the International Day of Peace was our founder, Ava Madison, had a vision when she was a child to, she envisioned the Peace Day and everything that goes along with it. And so what happened was her and other visionaries 30 years ago, or 31 years ago, had the idea to actually come to the UN with it and create a resolution which started the International Day of Peace. So it was basically a small group of people that helped to move
Always
move
is,
forward.
isn't
That's
it?
right.
That's what they say.
Yeah, and it's now expanded globally. So we're really happy about that. And so the International Day of Peace is like what we're doing here. It's a way to really link in people around the world and to feel that connection from here in New York to wherever on the planet. So it's really about that, to help to make those kind of connections. One of the projects that we work with and helped initiate was the Culture Peace Initiative. And what happened was after the first Peace Day, our organization started networking with different individuals and organizations around the world, and felt like, okay, we had the one day, but then what happens the next day? So the Culture Peace Initiative was designed to keep these organizations connected and collaborating together. And the whole concept was bring your strengths to the table, your individual pathway to peace, and look for partners and alliances to collaborate with, because as you know, when we work together, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and what I believe what's happening, especially planetary-wide, is there's a field of cooperation that's really being amplified right now. Yeah. And your project is an example of that. I imagine that all the people you've kind of connected, they want to cooperate and work together. So that field is beginning to amplify and get stronger. And the Culture Peace Initiative was basically naming that and offering technology through our website and videos and all that to help to kind of feed that collective field in the world. So we work on that 365 days a year. But the International Day of Peace is a day where we help to amplify and bring people together on a global level I like to think of it as inoculating a culture. Like if you want to create yogurt, just a little bit of medium will create yogurt from milk.
Well, I didn't know, but now I know.
Right.
It's good. Good information to have.
Yeah.
I'm set.
So the International Day of Peace is about inoculating our world civilization with ideas and thoughts and programs and music and entertainment that really focus on peace. Yeah.
So powerful stuff, and you keep using this term culture of peace. And sort of, I guess growing up, you just talk about peace. We all want peace, right? But now I'm hearing this term culture of peace a lot. What do you mean by culture of peace, and how is it different than going around saying we want peace?
Yeah, well, I think ultimately it means that, we share this planet together, we're in community, and collectively we create culture. We create a culture.
Yeah.
And what I believe what's happening is we're shifting from a culture of war into a culture of peace. And it really is about, a lot of it has to do with very simple, daily, kind, loving actions on a daily basis by individuals, groups, and organizations. And then that kind of builds. It builds on itself and it spreads.
So what are your indicators? I mean, that's a powerful statement,
Mhm.
right? To say that you feel like we're moving from a place
Yeah.
of war to a place of a culture
Right.
of war to a
Yeah.
culture of peace. What are the indicators that are like suggesting to you that we're actually making movement?
Sure. Well, one of the indicators is your project, the big project. You know, is that your project, along with other people that have had this kind of visionary idea to really broadcast really positive, influential information and ideas. That's happening globally, and to me, it's one of those stories that flies under the radar of mass media because it's, you know, they're not interested yet,
Right.
but I think that there's a huge global networks forming, and now the networks are starting to form one big network. And the idea is to, as I said, the part of the culture of peace is to join together, bring your strength to the table and cooperate.
Yeah, you know, it's actually funny because you mentioned the media, and
Yeah.
you know, in our work together with this, it was so tangible, palpable, almost that how hard it was to get the media,
Mhm.
but how much people themselves were open to really connecting
Yeah.
and cooperating.
That's
And so
right.
at some point we're just like, you know what, never mind the media, like
That's
let's
right.
work with these groups,
Right.
and it just became so synergistic, and I
Yeah.
feel like I kind of feel like you do, like
Right.
the media's not there yet,
Right.
but everybody else is kind of figuring it out.
That's
And
right.
there's something, and I've actually met a number of reporters who have said, yeah, there's something going on. We can't really put our fingers on it, but there's something going on and around the world. It feels more collaborative and more something. But then when push comes to shove, the articles don't talk about that.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
it makes me wonder, like,
Yeah.
what if reporters are even thinking about this, but the stories aren't getting written about
Yeah.
what's happening.
That's
Like,
right.
where are things getting stuck, and
Yeah.
like, how do we unstuck them?
Yeah, I think actually it's the access to social media and what you're doing here is unsticking because, activists and peace builders are using mass media or social media and the internet to get the word out. So I think that's kind of reaching a tipping point right now, and I think once it's, maybe even after today, there's going to be more interest in the mass media around that. One other thing, there's 2 points about evidence. I recently read a report and there was a book printed about it, that the actual level of violence has decreased.
Did you hear about
worldwide.
November 29th?
No.
Did you all hear about November 29th? It was the first day that anyone can remember in New York City where there was not one act of violence.
Wow.
Yeah, and no, no armed robbery, no rapes, no murders, and yada yada yada. But
Right.
who that sounded crazy. That was crazy for everyone to hear that. It's
That's
where
right.
did that come from?
That's right.
And it sort of makes me think about, like, is that an indicator? Is that one of these indicators that we're
I think
talking
so. I think so. And there is stats that show that the level of violence is dropping, and even with the wars that are going on, and that there is, it's a very significant drop actually. And there are some reasons why that's occurring, but I believe it's an evolutionary step that we're
Yeah.
making as humanity to step away from violence.
Yeah, and I feel like we're stepping away from violence, and I get nervous about saying this in some
Yeah.
communities, but I think we're moving towards love.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons why, and I think that, I have 2 reasons why I
Yeah,
think that. One
yeah.
is Iran loves Israel, and Israel loves Iran.
Uh-huh.
It's this initiative, I don't know if folks have heard about it, but there was a guy, graphic designer from Israel, who basically put out a call to people of Iran,
Yeah.
saying, hey, we love you, and they got responses back saying, we love you back. And so the
Uh-huh.
people of Iran
That's
and Israel started talking to
Uh-huh.
one another and saying in graphic formats and memes,
Uh-huh.
I love you. And so
Uh-huh.
there was this, like,
Sweet.
it started
Yeah.
growing and growing. It started with just a few people, and now it's like tens of thousands, 100,000 people,
Yeah.
strong, and it's kind of spread to all these different places.
Yeah.
And that to me was like a huge indicator that we're trying to say, if the governments aren't going to figure out, if the media is not going to figure out how can we build peace,
Yeah.
then let's figure it out ourselves.
Yeah, I agree. It really is a kind of a top, bottom up, where collectively we influence our leaders and policymakers. But I want to join you in that love, because I really do believe that with the culture of peace is actually the energy, the fuel is that love, is a love
Mm.
between our hearts, and also I would say even, I would call it a divine love that I feel right now is permeating the planet. We're kind of swimming in it
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah.
And the solstice time, I mean, there's a lot of religious ceremonies that happen around this time.
Mhm.
However, we're also in alignment with, there's an alignment that happens with the solstice and with our sun. And I feel from a universal point, there's this like the divine love that's kind of flowing from the universe through the sun into humanity, and we're responding to it. And I don't know if you notice in New York City here, like around Christmas time, how everybody's kind of feeling better
Yeah.
and they're helping each other out and feeling like brothers and sisters and talking to each other. I believe it's because we're collectively experiencing that love.
So, I mean, the interesting thing, though, is it's also potentially, or I don't know how you feel, I feel like it's potentially a reaction to some of the really negative things that are happening, right?
Right,
So,
that's
like
right.
the shootings in Sandy
Yeah,
Hook
yeah.
and just unnecessary violence that in some places it almost feels like things are kind of shifting towards polarization. There's a lot of love, but there's
That's
also on one side, on the other side, there's a lot of violence.
Right.
And sort of like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Yeah, I've thought a lot about that, and what I believe is that if individuals, organizations, or governments are resisting or pushing against it and closing themselves off, they're reacting to it in a negative way, and there's sometimes negative consequences to that. So the people that are open and receptive and letting that energetic love and flow through them, then they're able to feel that peace and be in peace with
Yeah.
themselves and other people.
Yeah.
So those tragic things that happen on the planet, I think they also stimulate our sense of collective of being together and our collective sharing the planet and
Yeah.
our brotherhood and sisterhood. I mean, after 9/11, to me that was a major miracle that would happen here in New York City, and how people
Yeah.
moved, and also globally with this, what happened in the school, like the humanity is pulling together right now
Yeah.
to share the love and share the grief and to be together as one.
Yeah. Sometimes when you have these horrible things, it brings people together.
Yeah.
So I just have to say
Sure.
one other thing, because
Yeah.
it's an indicator, it's a
Yeah.
powerful one.
Sure.
I haven't told
Sure.
anyone, so now of
I wanna
course
hear
I'm
it.
telling everyone.
Yeah.
So I wrote this article on about the Israel loves Iran, Iran
Mhm.
loves Israel peace, and Israel and Gaza, conversations there, and peace building efforts there.
Mhm.
And at the end of it, there was the comments section, and
Mhm.
anybody I've always been told, don't read the comments,
Oh,
because
right.
like people are just
Yeah.
nuts on the
Right,
comments,
that's
right? They
right.
just write ridiculous
Yeah,
things.
that's
There's
right.
cursing all over the
Right.
place, and then
Yeah.
what they say is terribly mean and horrible.
Yeah.
And so, of course, what do? I read the comments, right? And so there are these people who start getting in a fight,
Yeah.
and it's about Israel, and of course we
Right.
know that can get very heated.
Yeah.
And they start cursing at one another, and they start like hating on one another, and like, you don't know what you're talking about, and your argument's dry, and like, and it got worse, and it got ugly.
Mhm.
And at the very end, and my heart sank a little bit,
Mhm.
because I was like, here is this peace building,
Yeah.
article, and everybody, and still people could revert to fighting even after discussing this.
Yeah.
And so there was going and going, so my heart dropped, and at the very end, one of them said, you're ridiculous, and you're never going to go anywhere, but anyhow, I love you.
Wow.
This gets crazy.
Yeah.
The other guy says, anyhow, I love you.
Huh.
Some people might think that's creepy. That was the actual quote.
Huh.
So like it was still bantery, it was
Right.
still fun, but like
Yeah.
it blew my mind that
Yeah.
after this fighting, like everything I know about internet, fighting,
Yeah.
you don't tell the other guy you love them, and they don't tell you they love you back. But like
Yeah.
I feel like this is one of the indicators
Oh.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
That there is the shift going on,
That's right.
and it's sort of like, what does that mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it means a lot of hope, and also,
Yeah.
there's a lot of talk about the Mayan calendar and what that means, and I really think it means we are in a big shift right now collectively, and we're discovering who the peace builders are and how to work together more collectively, and how to take care of ourselves in a good way, and how to resolve conflict. I mean,
Yeah.
so that through really clear, good communication.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm very hopeful.
It's a good
Yeah.
time to be alive.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
And our native I've been really blessed with meeting Native elders, and there's a Lakota term that's used all the time. It goes like this: Mitakwie Oyasin.
Mitakwie Oyasin.
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 Yeah, Oyasin. And it means we're all related, or we're all connected, and we're all together. Mitakwie
Mitakwie
Oyasin.
Oyasin.
Yeah.
Help me practice, Phil. And didn't
Oyasin, you got it.
Oyasin.
Yeah. And anytime there's a ceremony, that word is used over and over and over again, and it's that
Oyasin.
culture has held the understanding that we are all related, and we're all connected, and we're all family.
Where does this come from? Like, do you know what this is? I just saw this
I
on the
don't.
internet.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mhm.
I mean, maybe, but apparently, I saw it on the internet. Somebody was doing this, so instead of the peace sign,
Yeah.
they were saying this because it's exactly what you just said,
Uh-huh.
which is
Oh,
the
we're
idea is
together.
that we're not. Yeah,
Oh,
that
I
this is
see.
used to be we're individuals, but
Yeah.
now we're connected.
Oh, I like that.
So we all are, and,
Yeah.
and so people have been trying to do this as the peace sign, new
Yeah.
peace sign, and I'm like, I like it.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
I like that too.
We like
Yeah.
it. All right, good,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, listen, this has been fabulous.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank you,
so
Donna.
much for stopping
Yeah.
by and blessing us with your time and energy
Yeah.
here.
Sure, and I just want to mention too that I'm sitting here myself, but I represent many, many people.
Yeah.
We have a team that works really hard to help to build culture of peace and do peace building acts, and so I wanted just to acknowledge
Yeah,
those folks, my team, our team.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, they're doing great stuff.
And
Great
I,
work.
and I want to, invite you to, in the future, let's look to collaborating on the next big thing.
I would love that. I would love that because there's
Yeah.
certainly going to be many big things to come. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you.
All right, so we're in the foot. Okay, thanks everyone. We're going to roll to clip.
Peace, or no, peace.